The admins of Hypixel have been working on a new game-changing Skyblock update that will introduce a bunch of new features. In this video, DankestGamer will give an overview of many of the things that they have been working on, such as new slayer and weapons, as well as significant changes to strength and a revamp of the aiming enchant for bows. DankestGamer will also share all of the information Minikloon has leaked in the past couple of days and share his opinion on the changes and how it might shape the game in the future.
Minikloon has recently leaked the stats of the Enderman Slayer Tier 4 boss and also the name of the Enderman Slayer boss. The name of the Enderman Slayer boss will be the Voidgloom Seraph, and the Tier 4 version of this boss has a whopping 300 million HP and does 21,000 damage a second. Compared to the other Slayer bosses, this is tens of times stronger, and it'll be fun to see how admins intend us to take these down, especially with the massive damage nerfs we will soon be getting. Minikloon also confirms that there are no Tier 5 Voidgloom bosses planned for this release. Now I'll be going into why admins are nerfing damage. If you didn't already know, Sword Swap has been patched. Sword swapping was the most overpowered method of dealing damage and would increase your damage by about 4 times with a mace swap and a giant sword. Along with removing sword swapping, strength will no longer provide 20% of its value as base weapon damage. This means that Reforged metas will be changed, and people will ultimately deal less damage than before. These changes are similar to the sharpness nerf in the beginning of the game, and is in preparation for the end update. In a recent Reddit post, Minikloon addresses why he is nerfing strength. He says that 75% of players can't dream of killing a mob, 5% are offered an interesting gameplay challenge, and 20% of them one-shot everything. This is because there are two problems with Hypixel Skyblock's damage system. Damage is multiplicative, which means it grows exponentially, and this leads to a big damage difference between pros and noobs. And also, since damage is multiplicative, stats are hard to read on weapons. It's hard to just look at two items and see which is better based on stats. The upcoming strength change intends to fix both of these issues by making your damage less multiplicative. Another upcoming change in this update will be the removal of aiming. Now this was done because currently aiming can just kill every mob in a single area constantly, and this comes at the expense of newer players. Minikloon basically says that it trivializes the point of ranged combat across the game, meaning you don't have to aim anymore, and it makes the game more boring in his opinion. Aiming will be removed and become Dragon Tracer, which is basically aiming that only works on dragons, and anyone who had aiming on their bow will have it converted to Dragon Tracer. This is really bad for the game in general because aiming was the only reason bows were somewhat viable, and now that aiming is removed, bows outside of dungeons will basically become useless unless you plan on doing dragons. To make up for this, the admins have leaked the Juju Short Bow, which is a bow that should make up for the loss of aiming. It instantly shoots, damages 3 enemies, and it can hit endermen. In my opinion, aiming could have just been nerfed to only aim towards mobs when they're very close to them. They could also make it trigger when the arrow has traveled a certain distance to promote long-range combat more. Hypixel admins have also decided to open up the Skyblock Nerds applications, which if you don't know what that is, the Skyblock Nerds basically help with updates and testing and will hopefully allow the updates to become better in the future.
And this is all we had for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.